Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark. Right then, we're going to get our next guest on the show now. So, well, what can I say about my next guest? She's an actress, she's a songstress, a musician, even a film director. With the greatest pleasure, I would personally like to welcome on board the wondrous Natalie Paige Bentley. Hello, Nat.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. Yes, great to have you on board this FM1 breakfast show. So
it's so nice. Thank you.
And thanks for staying up. I know you're 5 hours behind us at the moment.
Yes.
So thanks for staying up for us. Right, you have a new record out, don't you?
I do. It just came out just about a month, not even a month ago, and it's called Amaurotic.
Ah, wow. Amaurotic. Could you give our listeners more insight behind this EP and what inspired it?
Sure. Well, the name is, amaurosis is an injury or blindness to the eye. And, the whole premise behind the album was really about finding yourself and feeling lost and kind of the whole love is blind and what that means to people and what that does to people. And so I kind of took these groups of songs and tried to pick the things that I thought could tell a story, since I'm all about telling a story, whether it's a song, a film, or something I'm writing. That's really, I think, who I am as an artist, is the storytelling aspect of things.
Well,
and connecting to people.
That's wonderful. So that's one of the main things to find yourself as an artist these days, isn't it? Once you've found yourself, then you're on your way, then, don't you?
Yes, it's an evolving process. I think that certain times in your life, when you really find that place, things become very true and real, and it's a different form of expression, and it's a beautiful place. And I think you have to be open to evolving as a human being, number one, but as an artist, you just sort of dig a little deeper and things mold and change.
Right. Your music is very beautiful and you like this word, ethereal.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so, I love that word.
Yeah. Does it take a while to put a masterpiece like that together?
Every song is very different. I have changed so much over the years, just as an artist, and especially as, in the music portion of my artwork. And I think this feels the most authentic. Mm-hmm. And it does, some songs, they're just effortlessly. I could sit down at the piano and they come out. Other songs, it's more, I hear the sounds in my head and then the melody comes and the lyrics change, because that story has to fit for me seamlessly in terms of the lyrical content, and the emotional feeling of the music is such a huge part of it. So they kind of marry each other, if that makes sense.
Well, that's a very good response. So I hope you don't mind me asking. So we found out how to put the masterpiece together. Are there days where the mind does kind of go blank, so to speak?
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe you asked this question, because yes, I think the past, maybe even just the past few weeks, I've never really felt this way, and I'm coming out of it. It's not going blank. We're creatively stifled, where you're maybe doing the same thing, and I'm always trying to push myself to be the best version of myself, whether that's in anything I'm doing, but it feels like if you're not doing that, then you kind of go, okay, maybe I need to take a step back and reevaluate, or just sit for a moment.
Because sometimes even the smallest of things can come to your mind when you least expect it, can't it? Like the smallest idea or brainwave, what have you. And that's the same.
Life.
Yeah, that's the same with any musicians, isn't it? They have a platinum selling album, and then they have a pressure to follow it up with another album, don't they?
And that's tough. It's tough. Yeah. That's part of the nature of the business. Yeah. But if you can't get it, if it's not authentic, what's the point of doing it?
Yeah. Well, moving on to the next questions. I know you play quite a few instruments. What's your favourite to play or pick up?
The piano has always been my go-to. It will be, if till the day I pass. It's there's something about it. And my mother, is classically trained. Since the time I was a baby, that's all I remember hearing was her playing. And I can just sit down for myself and I play, and it does something to the soul. It heals. It just does heal something, unlike any other instrument.
Yeah, wow.
For me.
Yeah, that's wow. Your sorry for my pronunciation is not the best, but your Amaurotic video is deeply intriguing. What is the story behind the video side of Amaurotic?
So the story behind it really is kind of taking the Amaurotic theme, and it's where it may seem literal. It's about a man and a woman, and it really goes much deeper than that. In my perception, I realize when I do anything, especially in terms of the filmmaking, I really like to touch an audience where it leaves something open to interpretation, because what my eyes could see the sky as pink, where other people could see that as blue. And I love that about people and art. But Amaurotic really is kind of taking a look at the inner workings of a relationship and relationships in general, where we can, the grass is always greener on the other side, perhaps because it's too hard to look at ourselves and look at our own shortcomings. And, you have this man and this woman and this other woman in this video. And really it's the man struggling to find himself and the openness in his heart to realize, well, maybe none of that was really real until you found it deep inside of yourself anyway. And not to be a stereotypical between a man and a woman. It's just kind of how the story played out. I think everyone struggles with that.
Wow. That's fascinating. So was that a real white horse in the video? Because you don't you don't see many of them around.
No, that actually is my mother's Grand Prix dressage horse. I, grew up riding. My mother, competes in dressage. She has a bunch of horses, and that horse, his name is Sombrero, and he's my favorite horse. I love him, and I was so honored she let me, take him there to the farm that we shot it at and film with him. I love him.
Yeah, he's a beautiful creature, isn't he?
He's amazing. Aww. He's just amazing.
So, one thing that makes you stand out is your lovely pink locks. How crucial is it for an artist to stand out these days in this music business?
Well, it's, the pink really, right now it's blonde. I sometimes go back to blonde for a couple of weeks, but it's been pink. I was thinking about this morning. It's about 7, maybe 8 years. So, when I did it, it just was, I just loved it. It's just what I wanted to do. It wasn't for, geez, I have to do something to stand out. And I think it became this staple of who I am. And I think when you're an artist, whatever that is, when you are truest to yourself, whatever you feel, this feels like me inside my soul and outside to the rest of the world, that's when you start to, I think, make those, branding statements. Not that it's intentional, but it becomes part of who you are. And I think when artists start to go, what can I do to stand out? You get further away from, the authenticity of a human being and who you are. And that becomes tricky. I just have always thought, whatever it is, if you stay true to your path, it sort of comes out whether you like it or not.
Yeah. It's just natural, isn't it? It just happens.
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic. So you also name-check Dorian Gray in one of your songs. Are you a fan? Are you a fan of British literature at all?
I am. I just always have been. I've always just gravitated towards. There's something about the culture that I don't know what it is. I couldn't even begin to tell you. But the Victorian era. I've been a fan of that. It's rich in artistic culture that I feel like not, anything about the States, but there's something about it that I gravitate towards. And that story too was so intriguing to me growing up reading that I thought, wow, the Amaurotic story in some ways was an influence or a parallel to, me trying to tell the story of my characters. And I thought it just sort of came out where I'm like, wow, that was in one of my lyrics, and that story sort of taking a look back, you can see where my influences are on everything I've done.
Yeah.
And
Wow, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's really insightful. So speaking of Britain, or this side of the pond, are there any plans to venture, do a tour or release any music this side?
Yes, it's been in the works. What's happened with me, and I get on these projects and I go full force. I'm not somebody that does something just to finish the deadline. I tend to go, straight to the finish line. And so when this came out, I also have another project that I'm working on, a film project at the moment. And then I had another project that I was on. So it's really going, where's my schedule? And then I have these other songs that are coming out as well, some bonus tracks. So it's been, it's a lot of juggling, with all that I do. If this was just what I did, I would be on a tour right now, and there would be, no ifs or buts about it. So there is. We're trying to figure all the logistics out.
Righty-ho. So what part of the world means the most to you, and why?
Oh, I've traveled to all different countries in Africa. There's something about the land and the culture there that something about it speaks to me. I think I'm a huge outdoor girl. I love nature. I love animals. I sound very fluffy right now, but I really, there's something about that is very grounding. And I think that's important as a human being, wherever that is, to have some place where you can say, this grounds me and I feel back real and in my heart and less in your head. Sometimes we get caught in those places, and land does that.
Because I've got my own kind of place, and I call them the place of solace, where you can find, you just sit back and, recollect your thoughts and have some me time, really. Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So, a couple more questions to go. You were, am I correct? You were a mermaid in one of your videos. What was that like? And if you could come back as an animal, which one would it be and why?
Well, so the mermaid video is actually part of a film project that I'm still working on. That video, there was a short film that actually is released, and that video was taken from those song pieces. And that, I have to tell you, was probably something I'm most proud of. It was the best shoot. It was something I wrote, directed, produced, and wound up being in. And we shot that over 5 days in here in the States at a beach close by. It was absolutely, there was nothing like it to be, in a mermaid tail in the ocean, which was terrifying. But it was truly incredible. I've always had this thing. I've always believed in, mermaids since the time I was a little girl. I probably still do. That's just the world I live in. And I think if I were to come back as an animal, it definitely would be a bird. I love the sky. I would love to fly. And there's something, I look for things that are magical and beautiful and real, and that embodies that to me.
Good choice. Right, we'll be shortly playing 2 of your songs. So we're going to play both. We've got Holy Water.
Great.
Yeah, we've got Right Home's the first, and then we've got Holy Water out the 2. So should we do it?
Yes, absolutely. I'm excited.
Righto. For our listeners now, FM1, FM Worldwide, the first of 2, we've got Ride Home by Natalie Paige Bentley, and straight on after, we've got Holy Water as well. So these are out now, aren't they, Nat?
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, great stuff. Good times ahead. So, Nat, very much appreciated you chatting us today. Please,
Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. Please stay in touch, and we will no doubt catch up in the near future.
Yes,
Righty-ho, Nat. Let's do this. This is the first of 2. This is Natalie Paige Bentley and Ride Home.